Hello and welcome back to LarpForge. Today we're going to make a water barrel, just like this one. Actually, it's not so much about the water barrel itself as it is concealing this. It's the plastic water container. Usually it's really cheap. They're really cheap. And they're easy to have water in, whatever it is that's served or you can get at LARPs. The bad thing about them is they don't particularly look very much in game if you're going to do a fantasy LARP. So how would you put this in game? Well, one way is of course using something like this here, which I'm going to show you in a minute. But the thing is that there's a lot of easier ways to do this, a lot more simpler ways. I'm just going to show you a couple here. Take a piece of cloth and cover it up. I know you can see that it's plastic and everything, but at least it's not this. Now it's this. It's kind of hidden away. If you want to make this even better, you could of course make it a really nice sleeve around, a really nice sleeve for it out of cloth or leather if you want to. That would probably be really nice. You want to be able to take it off and this one out, because this one needs cleaning too. A lot of times lemonade is put into these things. Lemonade is something with sugar and that needs cleaning, otherwise this is going to be pretty nasty. So you need to be able to take it out and clean it. Okay, let's move on to this one here. This here I have been wanting to build for a long time. But the problem is, if you don't live in Denmark, you probably aren't going to be able to build this. Because I made it out of a Fastelavns tønde, which is a Fastelavns barrel. Fastelavn is a Danish holiday, sort of like Halloween in a way, or a miniature carnival, where you dress up in costumes, or kids dress up in costumes, go around asking for candy, and we hang barrels up and then smash them, and then candy fall out. The good thing is that Fastelavn was the last month, so you should be able to get these pretty cheap, but you have to go ask for them. I bought one of these barrels, and I bought it last year actually, because I wanted to test this out to see if it actually could be done. So we brought this to Conquest of Myth and actually hold it up pretty well. Anyway, let's get on to the materials that's used for building this. Okay, so what are we going to use for this build? Firstly, we're going to use some really thin type of wood that we're going to use for the lid. Now I used this, I don't know what it's called, I stole them from the backside of an old closet we're going to throw out, so that works fine. Then you're going to need a bigger piece of wood, this, like this here, that you're going to use for a handle or lock. Then of course you're going to need the Fastelavns barrel. This one here. Now keep in mind the real ones probably are not painted or anything, but then you're gonna need some sleeping pad foam, cabin pad foam, whatever you call it. You can get the cheap stuff, you do not need to get the expensive stuff. Cheap stuff is fine for this. Okay, so the first thing I did before I did anything else was to measure out how wide or how my shape on my water container was. And I was lucky, I was lucky to find a round one that would fit into the barrel, sort of fit into the barrel. I needed to cut a hole here. There should be like a centimeter or something, half a centimeter around the edge where it's not able to go in, so it won't fall out by accident. Took this really cheap, I don't know what kind of wood or material this is. It's the backside of a closet, and I used that. It's pretty bad for this because it actually can't handle water. But nevertheless I took this, cut it out so it would fit on top, so I would have sort of like a lid. Yes, and then I cut out a hole here so I could fit the handle and the tube where the water is supposed to go out of into here. Okay, so now I had the barrel and I had my lid with the hole in for the water barrel. Before I took this in use, however, I took and put some called camping foam around on the inside of this barrel, cause these barrels are pretty cheap and sometimes there are small nails sticking out on the inside. So in order for my water container not to spring a leak while I'm using it or start pulling out water on the inside, I put this in here, and also this made my water barrel be much more in place. Okay, so here's the basic idea. Water barrel, plastic container, the lid. Now the only bad thing here is if I fill this up with water, it will fall down to the bottom. So I need something to keep it here. For that I took this piece of wood and it fitted just nicely under the handle. Now this ain't a pretty front, but it's a pretty profile. Yes, I know, I'm going for the looks here. I just did the finishing touches with some paint. I used acrylic paint. It's not something I recommend because it doesn't stick to this. And this here, it's gonna scrape off. I just added some leather again to the edges to make it look a little nicer. Otherwise, I can only say that I think it looks pretty good. It's a pretty cool way to hide off a plastic water container. And you could probably go into way more details to make this a lot prettier. I made this with the materials I had and what I had at my disposal. Otherwise, you could probably use some oil and some really fine wooden paint for this and make it really smooth and nice. You could probably also make a small thing here, make this a lot nicer. And anyway, I think this is pretty cool. This would definitely be worth a lot more than just a plastic container in and in. If you want to hear more about innkeeping or how to be an innkeeper, you can check out our innkeeper video. Otherwise, I would really love to see what you guys are doing to cover up your plastic containers, how you guys are doing it. Let me hear what you guys are doing out there. Do you have any ideas of how you could do it? I did it with Fastelavns barrel because that's what we have here in Denmark, and I think it's a shame that we don't use them for this very much. Because they're actually, I think they're kind of built for the purpose, more or less. Well, okay, they're built for be broken, but they can be used for this too. Anyway, see you next time on LarpForge, and until then, bye bye.
I need to talk to you.
Now, who the hell are you?
Come closer.
What are you doing in my box?
No, nothing I can say. Come closer.
What the hell are you?
Come closer.
Who are you?
I haven't yet said!